Soviet scientists were running a massive drilling project. Picture this. A woman stumbles out of a tunnel pushing 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and she's not even wearing a protective suit. Rumor has it they dug straight into the gates of hell. So, what exactly went down here? This is the Russian sci-fi thriller, The Super Deep. Back in the Cold War, the Soviets kicked off a super deep drilling project on the Kola Peninsula, just to see what was hiding inside the Earth. After years of digging, they hit a depth of over 7 miles, making it the deepest man-made hole in the world at the time. But then, a terrifying rumor started going around. The drillers supposedly dropped a microphone down the shaft, only to capture massive amounts of audio that sounded exactly like human screams. People started saying they didn't just dig to the center of the Earth, they ripped open the gates of hell. And that creepy legend? That's exactly where our movie kicks off. Cut to 1984. Our main character, Anna, is a top-tier epidemiologist. It's New Year's Eve, and she's just chilling at home with her family when she gets an emergency call from her boss, Colonel Morozov. Things have gone totally sideways at the secret research facility on the Kola Peninsula. The crew heard some unexplainable noises deep underground, and right after that, over 20 people vanished into thin air. The few who managed to escape? They're all infected with some bizarre disease. The military is gearing up to lock the whole place down. Anna's mission is to get down there before they seal the vault, track down the source of the infection, and bring back a sample. With the stakes this high, she has no choice but to ditch her family and rush to the facility with the colonel. Right as their chopper touches down, an infected crew member sprints straight at them. Before anyone can even process what's happening, the guy pulls the pin on a grenade and blows himself up. Luckily, nobody else caught the blast. Anna immediately grabs a tissue sample from the guy's remains. But here's the weird part. The second the sample hits the freezing air outside, it instantly dies. This is Anna's first big clue. Whatever this infection is, it absolutely hates the cold. Next, she checks out the workers who were evacuated from the base. Physically, they look fine, but mentally, they are completely losing it. One guy keeps rambling that the underground facility isn't a lab at all, it's literal hell. But whenever Anna presses them for details, they're too terrified to say another word. Pretty soon, Anna meets up with the facility director, Grigoriev. The colonel is convinced the guy is covering something up, so he orders him to lead their squad down into the base. Now, the underground elevator has a crazy security failsafe. Punch in the wrong passcode 3 times in a row, and the whole thing automatically freefalls to the bottom of the shaft. It's meant to keep top-secret intel out of enemy hands. As they're heading down, Grigoriev suddenly pops a pressure release valve and slaps on an oxygen mask. Before Anna and the soldiers can even react, they all pass out from a lack of oxygen. When the crew finally wakes up, the elevator is parked at the underground living quarters. And surprise, surprise, Grigoriev is long gone, taking the elevator key with him. Without that key, they can't go any deeper, and they sure as hell can't go back to the surface. The rescue squad has no choice but to search the living area. Pretty soon, they stumble across an engineer named Nikolay and a female doctor named Kira. These two got left behind during the evac and have just been hiding out, waiting for a rescue. Anna runs some tests on them and doesn't find any signs of infection, at least not yet. Just as they resume the hunt for the director, Grigoriev pops out of nowhere. He warns Anna that whatever the drill team dug up down there doesn't belong in our era. If it ever makes it to the surface, the consequences will be totally irreversible. But before he can actually explain what it is, one of the soldiers opens fire on him. A bleeding Grigoriev manages to drag himself into the elevator and heads down to the lowest research level. To get that key back, a squad suits up in thermal gear. They're getting ready to chase him through a tunnel that's cooking at nearly 400 degrees. But right as the tunnel doors open, a woman comes stumbling out of the heat. Her name is Olga, and she works down in the lowest lab. The craziest part? She's not wearing any protective gear whatsoever. Normally, a regular person would literally bake to death in that kind of heat within minutes. But not only is Olga alive, she doesn't even have any obvious burns. Anna immediately rushes her to the lab for a full workup. Olga's body temperature is dangerously high, yet she keeps shivering and complaining that she's freezing. At first, her skin looks totally normal, but before long, Massive tumors start bulging out of her back, and some spots even sprout these gross, mushroom-like fungal patches. Anna pulls a sample and throws it under the microscope. What she sees is an ancient fungus that has never been recorded in human history. This stuff breeds insanely fast. It invades the human body, sucks up all the host's nutrients, and literally rewrites their biology. Olga's condition goes downhill fast. Her fingers start twisting in weird angles, and she starts uncontrollably slamming herself against the quarantine glass. By the time Anna gets back to the room, Olga has literally melted into the floor. Thick mycelium roots burst out of her body, crawling all over the room like creepy tentacles. Next thing you know, Olga's remains spew out this massive cloud of red spores. Major McKeeve takes a blast straight to the face without any warning. Anna quickly slaps on a gas mask, but the doctor, Kira, is already mutating and lunges right at her. In a split-second panic, Anna grabs a CO2 fire extinguisher and goes to town, blasting Kira and the fungus covering the room. As the temperature plummets, the rapidly growing mold instantly dies off. And just like that, Anna figures out the fungus's ultimate weakness. Turns out, this ancient mold was sealed underneath the Kola Peninsula's permafrost. Because the underground temps were so brutal, it had been stuck in a deep freeze for millions of years. But the drilling project cracked that frozen layer wide open. They brought the infected rocks up into their nice, warm labs, and human body temperature just so happened to be the perfect breeding ground. Once you're infected, you're just a meat suit for the mold. And the freakiest part? The fungal networks inside different hosts can actually link up. Eventually, they fuse everyone into one massive, terrifying superorganism. Anna lays it all out for Colonel Morozov. She tells him they gotta lock the whole place down and absolutely no infected person can go back up. But the Colonel? He's got other plans. He looks at this deadly fungus and sees the ultimate biological weapon. He's even planning to drag the infected Major back to the surface for testing. Right in the middle of their argument, the lower search team radios in, begging for help. They're getting ripped apart by some kind of massive creature. The soldiers run down for backup, but almost instantly, the tunnel erupts with heavy gunfire and screaming. Only 2 guys make it back alive. They tell the group there's a colossal monstrosity down there made out of countless fused bodies, and bullets aren't doing a damn thing to it. Then, a 3rd soldier stumbles out of the dark. One of his arms is completely gone, and you can see the infection spreading fast up his body. Rather than let himself turn into one of those things, he slices his own throat right in front of everybody. With the monster closing in, the infected Major steps up. He volunteers to hold the line with the remaining soldiers in the living area, buying Anna and the others some time. Anna, the Colonel, Nikolai, and the Deputy Director Peter hop into the rebooted elevator and drop down to the lowest research level. Strangely enough, the bottom floor isn't a blazing furnace like they expected. It's freezing, like walking into a giant icebox. The crew spots the bodies of the 20 missing workers pinned to the wall. They're all tangled together, completely wired up into one massive fungal network. The only reason the mold stopped growing is because it's so incredibly cold down here. They find a voice recording left by Grigoriev that puts all the puzzle pieces together. He actually figured out what the fungus was capable of a while ago. To stop it from ever reaching the surface, he purposely cranked down the AC on the bottom floor and trashed the facility's systems, hoping to bury everyone and the mold down there forever. But remember, he took that elevator key with him into the boiling hot tunnel outside. And to make things worse, he totally wrecked all the thermal suits before he left. The Colonel realizes someone has to go in, so he risks it all and steps into the heat to get the key back. Minutes drag by, and the Colonel doesn't come back. Anna knows waiting around is a death sentence, so she braces herself and sprints straight into the 400-degree tunnel. She doesn't have to go far before she finds the Colonel's body. He's clutching the elevator key tight, meaning he finished the mission right before he died. Anna grabs the key and turns around, but then she notices the cave walls glowing in the distance. Looking closer, she realizes the entire cavern is coated in this gnarly reddish-brown mold. This isn't just a quarantine zone, it's the beating heart of a massive fungal colony. When Anna makes it back with the key, Peter suddenly pulls a gun and takes her and Nikolai hostage. Peter doesn't care about destroying the fungus at all. He thinks if he brings a sample to the surface, he'll be hailed as a hero for discovering a brand new life form. Trying to steal all the glory, he shoots Nikolai, snatches the key, and makes a run for the living quarters by himself. But the second he steps off the elevator, the fused monster grabs him out of the darkness. A dozen arms and fungal vines wrap around him, swallowing him whole in a matter of seconds. Anna hides out in a freezer, dropping her core body temperature down as low as she can handle. Once the monster can't sense her body heat anymore, she sneaks out, grabs the key off Peter's mangled remains, and scoops up the wounded Nikolai. Leaning on each other, they finally drag themselves into the elevator, heading to the surface. But right as the elevator starts moving, they look down and realize the infected Major has completely melted into the floor panels. He's hanging on to his last shred of humanity. He begs Anna to destroy the elevator, telling her this thing can never see the light of day. Nikolai, though, is absolutely paralyzed by fear. He refuses to die in this hole and insists on taking the elevator all the way up. Anna tries to stop him, and an all-out brawl kicks off between them. Just when it looks bad, the dying Major uses the last of his strength to stab Nikolai in the neck, saving Anna's life. Before the Major passes, Anna leans down and kisses him goodbye. But that single moment of contact is all it takes. The fungus instantly enters her body. Feeling the mutation starting inside her, Anna makes her final call. Once the elevator reaches the top, she purposely punches in the wrong passcode to trigger the self-destruct sequence. First attempt, access denied. Second attempt, only one try left. Right as she goes for the third try, the fungus starts taking over her nervous system, and the Major's infected remains actually try to physically stop her. Fighting for her life, Anna crawls to the console and finally hits the last digit. Blaring alarms go off, the safety brakes disengage, and the entire elevator car starts to drop like a rock back down the shaft. But right before it plunges, a hazmat crew on the surface forces the doors open and drags Anna out. The problem is, she's already infected. If the military takes her to a lab, it's only a matter of time before the Kola Super Deep nightmare happens all over again. While she's being transported, Anna suddenly yanks a grenade off one of the guards. She bails out of the truck, standing alone in the freezing snow, screaming at everyone to stay back. The soldiers surround her with their rifles raised, while a few try to creep up behind her with tranquilizers. Without skipping a beat, Anna pulls the pin. Right as the soldiers lunge at her, the screen cuts to pitch black. Did the grenade actually go off? Did they wipe out the fungus for good? The movie leaves us hanging without a clear answer. But maybe the real horror isn't some mutant monster hiding in the dark. It's the fact that when faced with a threat that could wipe out all of humanity, some people will still try to weaponize it or use it for fame. Some secrets are buried deep underground, not because we don't have the tech to find them. It's because some things were just never meant to be dug up in the first place.